Okay, we're recording. So, hi everyone, welcome to the Data Scientist podcast. Today we have with us Freddy Zwanzger. I hope I pronounced this correctly. Freddy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Freddy, co-founder and chief data officer at Anyblock Analytics. We're a German blockchain solution provider providing infrastructure, tools, and data on numerous blockchains for crypto native companies.
Excellent. So I think you managed to say more buzzwords in 10 seconds than people say in 10 minutes. So what got you involved into this space or this intersection of different areas?
Right. Well, so in the past, I've been mostly a project manager for internet agencies serving large and small clients. And I discovered blockchain in 2015 when my co-founder Peter told me about Ethereum and the approaching ICO of Ethereum back then. And it got me interested because he said this is totally disruptive. It could basically lead to the fall of the money monopoly of nation states, and so there were big claims basically, or big ideas. And I thought that's a little bit crazy. And I didn't hear about Bitcoin really before that much. I mean, I heard it, but didn't dive into it or anything like that. So that was new. But I said, well, at the time I had exited my first company and I had some money that I wanted to invest into entrepreneurial things, right? And I did some crowdfunding investments, crowd investing kind of thing. And I thought, yeah, let's put some money in Ethereum, right? And I actually had to wait. That's a nice anecdote, because in the beginning you can only use a command line interface, and I'm not a developer myself, so I wasn't comfortable with that, doing some odd thing that I don't understand and do that in a technology that I don't understand. So I had to wait for a graphical user interface, or actually I think when Kraken first listed it or something, then I was able to buy some. And then obviously I followed that because I had a sort of an interest, an active interest, monetary interest, small one really, but so it sparked my curiosity, and I fell down in the rabbit hole, as they say in the blockchain world. And so, yeah, I really learned more. And back in the days, it was super easy. Like you're reading Evan Van Ness' newsletter, Week in Ethereum, and you know everything about Ethereum and the blockchain space. Obviously, these days, it's much more, broad and encompassing. But so that's how I started. And basically the way it turned out, I was working daytime at the agency, and then nights and weekends, I was reading up on crypto and playing around with different stuffs and projects that have launched in the early days. And then basically my wife said, hey, it'd be nice to see you, some more of you, and do some social family life. And so I did what I always advise people, looking for career moves and everything: make the hobby to your profession and do what you love during daytime, and hopefully get paid for it too. And so that's what I did in 2018. I jumped full-time into crypto, first as a freelancer, and then quickly reconnected with Peter and Sasha, which I knew from back in the days when we were working at the agency together, and stayed friends until then. And so they were starting this data company, this data idea, basically. And so we quickly joined ranks and moved it all the way up to 2021 now. And it's growing by the day, basically.
Great. And how do you merge data with blockchain? Maybe can you just take us through some of your work?
Right. So basically, we create a large index of blockchain data of numerous, over 20 different blockchain networks, and we index all the data that is on the blockchain. So everybody that knows blockchain, you have certain block times. So like in Ethereum, it's like 10 to 15 seconds, and that contains a new fresh set of data. And we index all of that. So we process that through a streaming processing pipeline with Apache Storm and Kafka, and it's all sorts of magic technology, basically, with big data. And we enrich it, for example, because everybody says the data on the blockchain is publicly available and transparent, and that is theoretically true, but it's not accessible really. And the problem, there's numerous things that are problematic. Number one, it's it's hashed and hex data, right? So it's not like human readable in any shape or form. That's one thing. And also the query performance to get to that data is very limited through RPC, which is also a technology, infrastructure technology that we're providing to our clients. So you need to connect, and you need some provider to connect to the blockchain, or you have to run the node yourself. That's the first thing that you need to do. Then you have to identify the right data and get it off the blockchain, probably translate it to some meaningful format, and then you would do whatever analysis you want to do, right? I mean, a time series or aggregations or, you name it. And so basically we're taking all of this away. So basically we're abstracting away the blockchain technology so that anybody, data scientists or even, business managers or product managers, community managers in the blockchain space can work with that data. And we do that by providing this data in two shapes, basically. One is a large Elasticsearch API index. So that's super fast, very efficient to query large number of data, which basically big data we have in blockchain. Or also, which is much more accessible for, let's say, the average user, is SQL. So we put it in a large Postgres cluster. And so those types of forms are then filled with all that data in real time. So it takes us less than a second to do all these processing steps, extracting, enriching, loading it, and putting it into the index. And from there, all sorts of people use that. There could be, crypto native projects, let's say DAOs or decentralized exchanges, or users of those projects that want to, dive deeper into it. Anybody that has launched a token, any project that has a token, or there are people that are interested in tokens, they can see and monitor token movements, obviously. Because we do have this data across numerous blockchains, there could be cross-chain use cases. Let's say wallet providers, for example, they need to connect to all these networks, and they keep mushrooming right now. So all these new Ethereum killers and layer 2 technologies and everything. So there's a lot of blockchains, and we totally believe that in the future there will be a multi-chain future. And so people can build those applications and don't have to run the infrastructure to connect to those different blockchains, and also to query those efficiently. And then the last part, if you allow me that, basically, because you realize this is a lot of data, then we also have the alerting mechanism, so you can actually monitor the blockchain in real time and listening to certain events that happen, like transactions or smart contract events, logs that are emitted. And then you can trigger any workflow with that, any legacy application or any analysis, like say you're accepting crypto payments, and then you're listening in, or you're getting that transaction from this address, and that means that this person get access in some other off-chain IT system or something. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what we do, transforming blockchain into usable data and actionable data, basically.
Okay, that's very interesting. And what's your typical user?
Right. So it's crypto natives. It's people that know what a blockchain is and actually already use it more or less professionally. Because we also did some projects with traditional enterprises, but frankly, it takes them too long to get it. Like if they haven't started the blockchain journey before, then their cycles of learning are years, maybe months, but usually, like if they're large enterprises, it takes years. And that's just not enough in the crypto space, where they say 1 month is in crypto is like 1 year in traditional companies or business industries. So yeah, and so that's why there are a lot of people doing a lot of business in blockchain in all sorts of walks of life. And those would be our users. And generally, they tend to be some shape or form of organizations that might not be legal entities and companies. They might be DAOs. They might be just open source developers working together on a new protocol, or these kind of things. So yeah, that's basically what we're targeting.
And any spectacular use cases that you've seen?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, maybe, and I don't want to, talk too much about users and their details, but two things that we are building might be of interest. So we're having the second unit of business, which is machine-to-machine generalized mining, where we're providing, let's say, for example, Oracle node services, bringing off-chain data on-chain, where we serve as validators in different networks and things like that. And to these communities, for example, Chainlink is the prominent one, or the Graph, which is also about decentralizing blockchain data access. So they're basically a decentralized version of our index API. We serve those as, with infrastructure and in the roles of indexers or node operators. But for these types of people, so these indexers or people that do this professionally, these networks, they need tooling. And one of the easiest examples is accounting, right? You're usually getting paid for these services that you're bringing to these networks and ecosystems in tokens. And now, obviously, we're a usual German company, and we have to do our taxes and our accounting. And how do you get the information? When did you receive how many tokens, at what price, and what expenses did you have to pay for gas, for example, and other expenses? So you got to do some accounting, and that's difficult because the accounting software is made for traditional businesses. And so we're writing tools for node operators to actually do their accounting and to sum up what they are earning and maybe make some projections into the future if the month continues to be like that. And this can vary wildly. Volatility is a big thing, not only on prices, but also, for example, with Chainlink, the number of requests that we're serving depends on the volatility of the prices that we're serving, because they get updated more often if they move more often. And so it's vitally important to keep track of these things. And these kind of dashboards and toolings, they are like super fascinating. And they also, because both of these networks are on different blockchains, they also, feed into our cross-chain approach and vision that we do serve this data from different blockchains. And you really have to combine the insights from different blockchains into one to give you, let's say, actionable insights into management decisions and running of your infrastructure.
I see. Very, very interesting. And where do you see this space heading towards in the next few years? I'd say not only the space of blockchain, but also this intersection that you're working on, data and blockchain, which I personally find this fascinating since I'm someone who works in both of those areas. Mm-hmm. But I can say that most people are either focused on pure blockchain or data science. So what do you think the future looks like the next couple of years, let's say?
Right. Well, so number one, I always say blockchain in itself is going to be, let's say, in 5 years, going to be as important as the internet is today. So you might not recognize it as a blockchain, but it might be blockchain powered stuff like apps or applications or exchanges. And you might not know that you're actually using blockchain technology, but it's going to be commoditized away, but it's going to be super basic in our everyday life. So that's that. As with data, I think it's super fascinating for data scientists to work with blockchain because of the open nature of the data, because basically everything is public. Yes, you have to decode it, make it human legible, like I said before, but basically it's all there. Like transparency is king in blockchain. And that obviously opens all sorts of floodgates that, where you can look into specific details. So we have a booming industry, like I said, mushrooming numbers of layer 1 protocols and stuff that's built on top of those. You have open data and super exciting also economic times. So I think for data scientists, for example, it's one of the most exciting spaces to monetize their knowledge. And by that, I don't mean only to sell their knowledge and be hired by some blockchain company, which we are hiring, by the way. But also they can leverage that themselves. Like they say, they can identify trends in token movements or DEXs and then be a liquidity provider. And they can be more effective than someone that only lives off crypto Twitter rumors or something, because they have the skill. They can actually look at the data and, have real facts as the foundation of their actions. So that is super exciting. And obviously now this is getting more complicated, and there's some movements of that sort of limit this openness of the data, like, CK snarks or private blockchains and that kind of thing. But that doesn't limit the possibilities for data scientists, because basically like what we offer, for example, for consortia, private blockchains from large corporations, for example, they all still need the data that is like readily available on, let's say, public blockchains, like a block explorer and simple tools like that, simple insights to monitor what's happening and what's going on. And they need that for their little small blockchains as well. So what I said is true for the public blockchains is very much the same, but maybe more in a corporate setting for, let's say, private or consortia blockchains in various technologies. So yeah, this is super exciting because the data is not siloed. I think part of the data science job, one of the most important parts, is always to access the data and clean it and prepare it and collect different sources. And with blockchain, basically you have that one data source, and then yes, you have to, sort of prepare the data, but you have that one source of truth, and it is the truth, and it doesn't change, so you don't have to do a lot of that cleaning stuff. So yeah, I think that's a super exciting combination of those two fields.
Awesome, great. I think this was a very, very good comment. Anything else you'd like to say before we go?
If anybody wants to get in touch with us, visit our website, anyblocanalytics.com. You can write us an email, contact@anyblocanalytics.com. You can follow me or the company on Twitter, Anyblock Tools. We're very open to chat with everybody. We're also hiring, so if you have an interest in that space, you're an expert. You don't have to like full-time work with us. You can also do like freelance and do some data analysis on a particular project that is close to your heart, and we can give you some publicity and fame, hopefully, and connect you with other people in the business, really. So yeah, we're super open. Just get in touch, and we'd love to help you.
I might take up on the freelance opportunity.
Yeah, go for it. No worries.
Why not? Well, thanks, Freddy. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this episode. Make sure to check out the datascientist.com for more content on data science, AI, and blockchain. And I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.